guys, today we're going to watch Chuck E. Cheese scary emojis stories. If you get up to, if you don't subscribe and like the video in 5 seconds, Chuck E. Cheese will come to your house and give you and Chuck E. Cheese will come to you, and Chuck E. Cheese decline your roadblock. If you subscribe and like in 5 seconds, Chuck E. Cheese will, under the bed, give you a surprise because you leave there, like and subscribe. Okay, let's get in first video. Okay, the story 1 is starting. Okay, story 1.
Remember Chuck E. Cheese, that old arcade with the singing animatronics? Of course you do. I just found out they went bankrupt recently. It made me think back to my horrible experience there as a very little kid.
When he was a kid, he got horrible experience. I don't think so. I don't know what he is. I need to watch it. Only 3.
I was no older than 8 or 9. It was like my third and last time ever at a Chuck E. Cheese. This specific location closed down years ago, but it used to be basically down the street from our old house. My mom took my little brother and I, and she let us roam free.
He said, okay, you can hear if you want to, and you leaving a comment what he said.
And do our own thing and play the games, while she sat at one of the tables reading like most of the other parents. I was playing this clown game where you...
Her mom said they were playing a game who called...
had to shoot the clown's teeth out with this little can...
calls the clone sound with a teeth.
and ball shooter. I was playing the games that would get me the most tickets for the prizes. I finished the game again, and the tickets shot out from the ticket slot.
What the heck? For tickets? Yeah, I think someone win 1,000, so you always get tickets.
That's when I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned and jumped in my seat. I was greeted with a giant Chuck E. Cheese mascot in my face. He held out his hand for a high five, and naturally I gave him his high five with the...
What the heck? He just with his eyes very strange and crazy. What the heck?
smile. He then pointed at the tickets and gave me a thumbs up.
Okay, when Chuck E. Cheese was little, he put all the ticket and something like that.
Just continued laughing and smiling and said, yeah. Then he pointed at the tickets once more and motioned for me to follow him. So I ripped the tickets from the slot and followed the giant mascot. As we walked across the main floor, a couple other kids around like 6 came up to him saying, "Hey Chucky," and he gave them both high fives. I kept following him, wondering if he'd tell the other kids to follow, but he didn't. He would turn back every few seconds to make sure I was still following.
What?
Finally, we made it across the main floor by the stage towards this back area, where he waved me to follow him through this employees-only door. From what I remember about how I was feeling,
Feeling? What the heck he said about a kid? Let me in the comments below what he said about a kid. I don't know. I think he's talking about himself when he was a kid. Yeah.
Just say a combination of weird and excited. We entered this narrow hallway, and I felt kind of special for being allowed access back here. Keep in mind, I had the mind and maturity of a very young child. The mascot led me to this back room.
He's talking about a kid again. About himself when he was a kid. Mr.
Where he motioned for me to enter first, so I did. It was the small changing room type of room. It had a few lockers on one wall and one long bench extending half the length of the room. That was it. He entered the room and shut the door behind us, and I noticed he locked it. That's when I became confused and afraid. I thought he was taking me to get a bunch of free tickets. What could he possibly do in this empty room with me?
Nothing is free. Tickets are free, but there are no free tickets. I think that in Chuck E. Cheese they're giving free tickets or something.
He approached me, put his furry mascot hand on my shoulder, and then started rubbing from my shoulder to my arm. Then he seemed as though he...
What the heck? Rubbing on my shoulder and my elbow? Oh, that's so unkind. You have to be friendship always.
tried to reach lower with both of his hands, and I pushed him off and yelled, "Stop." That's when the person in the suit lifted the mask off his head, revealing some sweaty, middle-aged man underneath. He started to remove the rest of the costume from himself as he told me to be quiet. I sat there watching, shaking, and plotting my way for the door. When I thought he was distracted enough by the suit, I tried to run past him for the door, but he grabbed me and told me to stop. He offered me all the free tickets I wanted if I just behaved. I started to yell and pound on the door. He tried to cover my mouth, but I think he gave up when he realized it wasn't worth the risk for the desk.
Wait, what the? He said sorrow is covering my mouth. What the? Everyone do that brain science evil. So then you get killed. I don't know. Make sure guys to subscribe to Mr. Nightmare. And it went in 3 or 5. No, not this video.
My mouth, but I think he gave up when he realized it wasn't worth the risk for him. I unlocked the door and ran back down the hall in tears. I ran back to my mom, yelling at her about what just happened. She was distraught and went right to the front desk. The girl at the front desk seemed to be in a panic as well, and I think she called for her supervisor. Pretty soon, all the music was stopped, and the place was put into a lockdown of sorts, where all the kids were to go to their parents. A bunch of workers ran to the back section, and eventually police showed up outside. I had to give my whole story to a crowd of like 6 people, and I was extremely nervous. The man in the Chucky suit was some random creep who snuck into the back section of the building to dress in one of the suits and apparently lure children to the back. Realizing and looking back at that now as a grown adult is disturbing and disgusting. That I was the victim of a predator. I never found out if that monster was caught.
Nobody. Okay. Story 2. Okay, we're going to watch this about story 3. That's it.
I used to work for Chuck E. Cheese very briefly when I was 21 years old. I was one of the janitors / maintenance workers. I know, not very awe-inspiring. I was broke as hell and needed money. All my job really entailed was cleaning tables and keeping the play areas generally clean. Sounds easy, but there was never really a time to just sit and take a breath. There was always something to clean or take care of. I would also be in charge of turning on and off the animatronics, opening the stage curtains, fixing busted arcade machines, and things of that nature. My shifts would always be later, from like 4 to 10 p.m. My locations. I would stay an hour, sometimes 2 hours after, to get the place in top shape, ready for the next day. So this one night, I was working past close like I usually did. Everyone had already left the building, including the other workers, so I was the last one in the building. I was dragging my cleaning cart around the arcade area. I had already turned off all the game machines. I was by that space-themed arcade machine where you had to press the button at the right moment to stop the light on the jackpot bulb. As I was passing by this machine, the space-themed music suddenly emits from the machine at a very loud volume, and all the lights start flashing again. I felt like my heart was in my throat. That's how much it startled me. I fiddled with my keys to access the control port of the machine to turn it off again. I'd never seen anything like that happen before. It suddenly just freaked me out. Only because I was all alone in that big building pretty late at night. The weirdness didn't stop there, though. By this point in the night, I had already shut down the animatronics on
Guys, no more questions. Now you have to watch. And you have to talk about yourself.
the stage. So when I heard Chucky's pre-recorded laugh break the silence of the room, my heart started pounding again. The laugh was short and cut off. It almost sounded glitchy. I ditched my cleaning cart to go backstage and check on the animatronics, and I could see they were in their idle modes now, meaning they would move their limbs and heads around every so often. I would have to go to the control room to turn them off, but this was the second strange thing to happen that night. I started getting paranoid that someone else was in the building with me, but that thought was interrupted when I noticed that the Chucky animatronic was facing me, and its head angled down perfectly to look as though it was looking at me. It was bizarre. Bizarre that I was finding it that disturbing. I'm not crazy, but for my own peace of mind, with my eyes on the Chucky animatronic, I walked past it, closer to the control room. I waited there for a few seconds, and then the animatronic spun 90 degrees to face me once more, perfectly.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to see another video. Bye!